I do like that when I'm in any city, anywhere in the world, people will come to me and ask me for directions.
People who are unhappy at home, it doesn't impact in the office. But if they're unhappy at work, it impacts the family.
Because that truly is the key for a woman finding that balance in her life where she can live the way she wants to. When you do something, and especially when you believe in it so much, it's very difficult to keep your emotions separate.
So you're happy I'm married. There's no other concept to it.
Yeah, my kids thought we were crazy.
Pretty good afternoon. Thank you for coming. You're one of the early speakers in our new season. Our podcast is called HUX. As you're aware, we run a company in the space of mental health, happiness at work, which I think is the most pertinent thing in the world. Being happy, being content, and making the world a better place. So we are delighted to have you. Maybe you want to tell the listeners a little bit about you and your current passion.
So firstly, thank you for having me, Manny. I think there's an ulterior motive to be here, to agree to be on this podcast, is because if there's anything that I require at this stage of where I am, is this happiness, peace of mind. So I'm hoping that I take back a lot of the learnings. So I basically come from financial services. That's DNA. Comes as part of the family business, setting up a lot of businesses myself within that larger umbrella.
Wow.
And then about 4 years back, stepped out of my parent company, which is Priti Rathi, which is a pretty well-known financial services company.
It's a premier organization.
So I still sit on the board of two companies there. But 4 years ago, I said I want to pursue what, in your words, you would call Ikigai.
Oh, yes.
So stepped out to start a platform called Lakshmi, which is a money platform for women.
Wow.
A platform where women can actually find financial happiness,
Wow.
financial security,
financial well-being,
and most importantly, financial freedom.
Correct.
Because that truly is the key for a woman finding that balance in her life where she can live the way she wants to. So that's what Lakshmi does.
So that's your Ikigai.
It is.
So a fun question I want to ask you now, which is very trending, that women are very independent today. They're smart, they're educated, they're making their own money. So they're not reliant on men as they were 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Sure.
So what do you think? What's your view on that? I think it's a very positive thing.
It's great, actually. Women are making amazing strides when it comes to independence, pursuing their career, even choices around, staying single till they find the right person.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can tell you how meaningful that is because I got married at 19. So
19?
Yes.
Whoa.
And that was because,
Arranged.
Yeah, I mean, no, it was love. My mother fell in love with the boy.
Oh,
so
that's a good story.
Love marriage.
That's a good story.
But, the ability for girls to really stand up and say, look, I will choose my own life path, right? That is definitely changed. What hasn't changed, unfortunately, is the whole equation that women have with money. So it's still being managed by the father, the husband,
maybe the brother.
And that is actually something that surprises me all the time. But there are some solid reasons why that happens. And to me, till women actually are financially independent, not just earning their money, the fact that they also have full agency over their money.
Yes.
I don't think they're really independent. I mean, there is a lot of talk around, the whole feminist view of, literally going onto the rooftops and saying, I don't need men in my life, I can do this, etc. But that needs to apply to money as well.
Absolutely.
Until then, I think all of this talk of equality is actually meaningless.
Yeah. So my mother was a economist with the RBI. I grew up. I'm the youngest, so I have two siblings older to me. So I saw her managing the household, make corporate strides, and instilling the value of money, right? And I saw that really upfront, and even what you're doing is very dear to my heart.
Sure.
And I hope one day my company can partner you. We do work with women entrepreneurs, but that aside, I think a woman, to be truly independent, must control her own money.
Sure.
No one else should say, okay, invest here, invest there. Women should know where our funds are there, our mutual funds, gold, real estate. And the day she's financially independent, I feel that's the day she should get into a relationship. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, the way I would put it actually is that if you are able to take personal and professional decisions without money really being the bottleneck,
yes,
or the decision maker,
yes,
that day you're truly free.
Absolutely.
If you're saying I can't leave this job because I don't have enough money, or I can't get out of this relationship because I don't know how, because I'm financially dependent, I don't know how I'll fend for myself.
Yes.
Till then, no matter how well you're doing in your career, how successful you are, you're not really free.
Absolutely. You're chained. You're chained.
Absolutely.
Do you have a daughter or a son?
Both.
Okay. So how old is your daughter? Teenager or?
That's not a great question to ask.
Okay.
On a podcast,
let's won't ask the age. Okay. Let's go back.
I have a grown-up daughter.
Okay. Fine. Assuming she was single, I don't know what she is single, man.
Yeah.
What are the qualities in a man you would ask her to look for?
So firstly, I have a daughter who's 32 years old.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
She's married.
Okay.
And I think she has followed the sort of, I wouldn't really say principles, but like guiding path to saying, okay, or guiding pointers to say, okay, this is the kind of person that I want to be in a relationship with or to get married to. And I think one of the key things there was, I think the sort of the foundation of that relationship is built on friendship.
Yes.
And it brings home this very important, pertinent point of being able to communicate.
Absolutely.
And I find that is probably the most important thing, whether it's a relationship, it's a romantic relationship, it's a relationship at work, or it's personal relationships, right? Personal or professional. The key thing is the ability to communicate. One, for you as a human being to be able to communicate what you're genuinely feeling. And second, to have the counterpart who is open to that communication.
Right.
To me, I think that's the most important pillar of any relationship.
Communication.
And then communication. And coming back to how they manage their financial lives is very interesting.
Very interesting.
Because they're very clear that this is ours, this is yours, and this is mine. So I think it's a very smart way of ensuring that there are no financial conflicts.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you look at statistics, 75% of marriages fall apart because of financial conflicts.
Yeah.
I think the ability to say this is our money, this is my money, this is your money. You do what you like with your money. You want to play golf, you want to buy expensive golf sticks, please go ahead. But if I want to spend it on being at the spa, or if I want to pursue some education, whatever I want to do,
or buy gold.
Or buy gold.
Today's gold prices.
Gold, yes.
Did I read somewhere that very eminent personalities said that the housewife is the most...
Uday Kotak.
Yes.
He just said that.
Yeah,
yes.
most savvy investor because they invested in gold. It's a lakh
True.
now.
Absolutely.
My God. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah. So I think the ability to make that decision, right? And yet be together in managing your financial lives. So having that purpose where this is for us, right?
Yeah.
I think it's great financial discipline. And like I said, I think it's not just about me saying this is the financial discipline I'd like to follow, but also having the person on the other end saying, yes, I agree, like I'm okay with that.
Absolutely. Don't you think pre-marriage financial counseling, financial compatibility is very important?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
the both of them should go through.
Absolutely. I mean, there is, thankfully, I hear a lot of people now going through counseling before marriage,
Yes.
in terms of compatibility, etc. But I think financial compatibility is still missing.
Yeah.
And I think more so in India,
Okay.
because I think we, our sort of social mindset is such that we don't encourage women to talk money, or we sort of judge them when they ask a question. I know there was this very popular matchmaking show where a girl actually asked
What was it? Where?
In India, matchmaking show
On Netflix,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
where the Indian matchmaking
Yes.
show, I think,
Yeah.
where a girl actually asked a boy that, how much do you earn and how much do you save and what do you think of, and
It offended him.
it offended him,
Oh my
and it
gosh.
offended his family, it offended people around, it even offended the girl's family to say,
Yeah.
oh, why should you bring up this? But it's such a pertinent question.
It is.
Right? And I think it's very important, and there are, financial compatibility is a very, very critical part of any couple's lives as they go
Absolutely.
forward.
Yeah.
I mean, there are terms that we have actually sort of found being used increasingly, like financial infidelity,
Oh yeah.
financial
Yeah.
cheating, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, I think, creating or building your relationship or your marriage on a very strong foundation of course, other compatibilities, but also financial compatibility is very
Absolutely.
important.
So when you were talking about it, that thought came to mind. So now modern dating is a lot through apps. 70% of the world meet through apps, right? Because where's the traditional way of meeting someone?
Correct.
So I feel apps in the algorithm should somehow capture a financial quotient.
Right.
Right? If I'm going to date a woman and her financial quotient is high, means she's good to date. Or conversely, if a woman wants to date a guy, he's savvy and he's financially good, that makes him a safe bet.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because finance is every day, every decision is finance led. You buy a cup of coffee, okay, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
You're going for a holiday, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
So finance is very important.
Yeah, this is a great, I mean, the thought just struck me. It's a great idea for people who run the Tinder and the Bumble of the world.
Yeah.
Because now you can
Sybil,
literally
Crystal score. Whatever,
you can just use AI to figure out, how financially savvy is this person.
Yeah. There was this amazing series called Tinder Swindler on Netflix. It's a real story.
Of course.
Now imagine you're a single woman, you meet a guy, he pretends to be everything good.
Yeah.
Then you realize his credit records are completely out of whack, and he wanted to marry you because maybe you're wealthy.
Correct.
And live off you.
Correct.
And the minute you've given financial control to him, that financial infidelity, cheating will all come. So finance, I think, to me,
great idea. There's a business idea out there for people watching.
Somebody should listen.
Yes.
Somebody should listen.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, I mean, you are HBS educated, you come from a great family, you're a trailblazer, you're a role model in all that you do.
Thank you.
What does emotional resilience mean to you, from a Priti the woman to Priti the board director to Priti the entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Okay. You can break it up or...
Yeah. I think the one fundamental part of emotional resilience, and I have to say that I learned it the hard way, is being authentic.
Yes.
I think it's the hardest thing to do today. And especially more so as a woman. It is a glaring and disturbing truth that when it comes to how the expectations from a woman, how she's supposed to act, what is she supposed to do in her life, what are her life stages, at what age is she supposed to get married, when is she supposed to have children, what is she supposed to be like after she's had children, what is she supposed to dress like when she's at work, what is her demeanor supposed to be when she's at work, is she in a creative field, then she's supposed to dress differently. If she's somebody, as in a boring field like mine, finance, then she's supposed to dress differently and behave differently. I think there's just too many expectations, and unfortunately there are far more from women than there are from men.
True that.
I may be completely wrong, and I'd love for you to correct me.
Things are slightly changing.
Yeah, I mean, for example, I know even today that most families, the expectation from a boy or a man is, okay, you've got to fend for yourself. Okay, you should study really well, do well, etc. Get a great job, or earn really well. But there are no expectations around saying this is how you should dress, this is how you should behave, this is how,
Drink, don't drink, smoke, don't smoke. There's
all
so
of
many
these
things. Yeah.
things. And I think that's where true resilience is, being able to withstand all of that noise around you,
Yeah.
cut it out and say, I am who I am.
Correct.
Because, in any journey in life, you can pretend to be somebody only for so long.
Hmm.
It's definitely not a happy place to be if you're pretending to be somebody you're not.
That's very hard. Very hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So whether it is for me as a woman, whether it is for me as a leader, whether it is for me in the boardroom, I think this many years back, I decided that I'm going to be
Good.
Authentic. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a business channel once told me that
Pure me.
Pure me, pure, 120% pure.
I like that. Yeah.
But I mean, I remember Business Channel once told me many years ago when I just started my career that, ma'am, women in financial services come across more insightful and, more serious when they wear a sari.
All right. Yeah.
Really, like,
how did
that ever happen?
Yeah.
And that's the day I said I will not follow norms or expectations that people will have from me, because it's not me. I will wear a sari. I love wearing saris, but I'll wear it when I want to.
Absolutely.
I will not wear it because it's an expectation from me.
Yeah.
So to me, that is, I think, a core of that resilience. And then everything that is, if I'm authentic, if I'm somebody who has empathy built in as a woman, it's great. I'm going to exercise that.
Yeah.
If I tend to get emotional, I will exercise that.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to hide it. If I'm vulnerable at times, I will be that. So I think it all sort of, the core is authentic, and then everything that comes along. If I'm feisty, I don't care if somebody says you're aggressive. If I'm aiming to build $1 billion company, I'm not going to be apologetic. Yes, I am aiming. Maybe I don't make it, maybe I fail, but this is where I am right now.
I mean, you mentioned the dress. I remember meeting you last year. It was a very eminent panel,
Yeah.
You were wearing a beautiful dress. Do you remember? It felt like you were in the Oscars.
Oh, okay.
I have a picture of you, me,
Okay.
and then you remember Parvez, and
Yes.
there was a lovely dress.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes.
It was a
No,
full,
I do. Yes.
full attire. So, yeah, I mean, you should wear what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel comfortable. I mean, why do you have to be defined on a sari?
Yeah.
Why?
Correct.
Yeah, you'll wear a sari when you want to.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
should
I
have the freedom.
always say that for me, and I say it pretty openly, that all things F are very important, and people
I like
actually
that.
take
I like that.
whether it is food, whether it is fashion, not what you're thinking.
No. Fasting.
Food,
fasting,
fasting,
finance,
films. These are
father,
important. Father.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. You added that. That's great.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay to be you. I don't have to be, you don't
And
have
fun.
to slot
And
me.
fun. You
And
must
fun,
have a lot of
course.
fun, right? As a
Fun.
leader.
Yeah.
So what are things you do for fun?
One,
Small
I
things,
think,
big things. What are the things you love to do?
Okay, so I think you can ask my team. I'm known to be a prankster.
Oh,
I'm known
what's
to be
your
wicked.
star sign? What's your star sign?
Well, I'm a cusp between a Scorpio and a Saggy.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm known to be a prankster.
Okay.
I will play these little small wicked pranks on people.
In the team.
In the team.
Lovely.
And I think that's important because you sort of build that environment where
Right.
people are not scared of
Right.
you.
True.
And you keep them confused at times. So I think that is fun for me. I thrive on humor. For me, humor is very, very important. Other than that, I think I love fitness. For me, that is also fun.
You are fit, which is good.
And
You've
I
invested in
love,
health. It's a must, right?
So I love working out. I love watching films.
What are your top few films? Hindi, let's say. Bollywood.
Bollywood. I have a small company that makes films. By the way.
Wow. Well,
So my
what's it
favorite
called?
films, it's called Ishka Films.
Ishka. Okay.
And
okay.
obviously, I've made right now so far only 2 films in it,
Okay,
but
what are
they're
they
both
called?
obviously my favorite. So the first one is a film called Waiting.
Waiting. Okay.
It has Nasir Ji in it
Wow.
and
Where?
Kalki. And
it's on what platform?
it's there on Hotstar, I think it's there.
Waiting. So this weekend I want to watch Waiting.
Yeah, and it was the first film I made. It was a
Wow.
dedication to my mother, who was in the arts, and she kept telling us that, she kept telling me, "You're so creative. I want you to do something in the creative
Wow.
field." And the story just
Nasirji,
came to
wow.
me. It's a beautiful film.
Okay.
I think
It won't make me cry and all, right? Hopefully not.
It will make you laugh, but
Okay.
it will also make you
Lovely.
occasionally cry.
Emotional.
It
Yeah,
is
yeah.
emotional, and it's built on a very on a very somber premise. But the way it's treated is real life. How
Wow. Wow.
even when you're going through very dark patches in your life, you find humor, and that appealed to me. Right,
True.
you don't stop living. You continue to do the things that you do.
True.
So that obviously is my
And the
favorite
second?
film. And the second is a film called Karwa, which had
You made.
Irfan Khan.
You
Yes,
made. Oh,
that was
Irfan
with
Khan.
RSVP. Yes, so I
Wow.
partnered with RSVP, which is Ronnie's film company. Ronnie Screwvala.
Ronnie Screwvala.
So it has Irfan Khan, and it has a wonderful actor from the South called Dulquer Salman
Okay.
and Mithila Palkar.
Oh, Mithila, I know. She's done some
yeah.
work.
Yeah, you should watch this film if you haven't, which
Karwa.
talks about Karwa.
Why have I not? I mean, I really liked Irfan Khan.
And it's a beautiful journey. It's a humorous take on how two people lose their parents and the bodies get exchanged.
Oh.
But it talks about relationships with your
Okay.
children, with your
Yeah.
parents, but in a very, very fun way. And I think it
Yeah.
is one of Irfan Khan's, I think one of his most beautifully enacted films.
Wow.
So these two, of course, are my favorite films.
So I want to ask you, was there ever a pitch where you wanted to scream, I need a therapist and I need a nap?
A pitch that I heard.
No, you made.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, so in Lakshmi, we actually, we said we will raise funds in Lakshmi.
Okay.
So we did go out and raise funds. And I think that's where, when you talk of emotional resilience, it just came home that as a woman, you are always slotted differently. And then if you've had a successful past life, then you're slotted even more differently.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. So,
Yeah.
sometimes the questions
It happens.
asked were very interesting.
Yeah.
One of which was, why do you need to raise funds?
Mm.
Now, nobody's asking Kunal Shah why he's raising funds for his second venture. Why are you asking me? Why I need to raise funds?
Absolutely.
So I think those have been the times when
Yeah.
I've really had to say, oh my God, and the second one was, why do women need a separate platform? And I'm like, oh my God, do not ask me this question anymore.
My God.
So yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you've had your share of these funny experiences as a senior leader. You do hobnob with senior guys who, unfortunately, are very stereotypical in their thinking of a modern woman, right? They're not able to come to grasp that, a woman can do all of it and better. I think a woman leader, for me, is more resilient, is more compassionate, more vulnerable.
Sure.
Which are very attractive qualities to work as, right?
Yeah.
As a leader. You don't want someone who's not showing you the vulnerable side. You don't want someone who is not compassionate with you. It makes it very tough at the workplace. Between you and your hubby, who's more romantic?
Me, of course.
Yeah, okay.
I'm the filmy, like I said.
You're the Shah Rukh Khan in the house.
Filmy. I'm the Deepika Padukone.
They are the Deepika Padukone. Sorry. But okay, so and I'm trying to think, who's the Shah Rukh Khan equivalent in the woman Bollywood industry? I'm just trying to think. Like Shah Rukh Khan is the king of romance. Who's the queen of romance? I'm just trying to think. Do you? I don't know.
I only think of me. I'm the queen of romance.
Okay.
I can say that.
Brilliant. So Karan, if you're listening, the queen of romance.
Yeah.
Then your next movie, maybe. Next movie.
People would ask me, and I would say I don't risk my own films. So no. But I think it's important. I think keeping these, and especially, I mean, you are the happiness samurai, right? And I think you'll agree that I think keeping that little girl in you alive, having those little, like I said, playing pranks, but also being romantic, doing those little things are just so important to keep your everyday exciting, fun, something you want to look forward to.
True.
But also to your point, one of the things I've realized, you said that people who accomplish a lot, or men who are who've reached senior positions. Actually,
Yes.
that's where I'm seeing a lot of change. I today see that a lot of men who have, who have the experience of leading organizations, etc., are far, far more um, aware of how important it is to have women as part of whether it's
Very
workforce
important.
or
Very
the
important.
qualities they bring on board. Um, I mean, broadly, I would think that the senior a person gets in their career, I think the better, I think I'm sort of groping for the right word, but they're sort of very, very aware
Yes.
and very
Self-awareness.
open to the
Yes.
fact that, and they are the ones who actually judge the least.
True.
When I was talking about making pitches, etc., I think you typically have a lot of young analysts, young people in those teams who are actually far more. I think they haven't done that journey, and they are the ones who are actually questioning you.
True.
But if I've also spoken to some amazing investors
Yeah.
who have actually been guiding lights for us. So
Mm.
it's I think experience makes you richer in not just a lot of other things, but also understanding human relationships, on equality, on what women bring to board.
True.
Also, I think your ability or your vision to see the world dramatically changes.
Yeah,
So
well said. So, if mental well-being was a key performance indicator in your business,
right.
um, what would success look like to you right now if you had mental well-being as a KPI in your business?
Great. Yeah. Couple of things.
Right.
One, I think just a happy place for people to work in. That's very important.
True. Happy place is very important.
It
Very
is very
important.
important. And I think I think people haven't paid as much attention to it. I'll be frank, I think even for me, it sort of, I gave it more thought because the way we are building Lakshmi, I knew that we need some super, human beings to come on board and make it happen. But the other thing is, are you willing to stretch yourself? Are you willing to think beyond a 9 to 5 role?
True.
Because that's what we want when you're building a new
Entrepreneurship.
category,
Yeah.
when you're building a completely new product. You want innovation to come in.
True.
Then it's very important. I don't think people who are unhappy, who are not okay at workplace, will be able to contribute.
True.
So therefore, we realized, my co-founder Riddhi and I, that firstly, I think we need to create an environment where people are happy to work with. There's great interpersonal relationship. We don't have too much bureaucracy, etc. And the second important piece is the fact that people are able to, we've always believed that there's a wall between your personal and professional life, right? And to a certain extent, I do believe that. I believe that if there is something not going right at home, you should not let it affect your work, right?
Yeah.
And similarly, if something going wrong at work, you should not let it affect your
person.
But it's easier said than done,
No.
right? And therefore, to really enable people to cope with this.
Yes.
To help them understand that how they can build that sort of sieve to say, okay, I'm not this. I don't think it's a wall, but at least the fact that you are able to build that resilience, whether it is at work. To me, I think that is also about your, a place which has great sort of mental health.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, my team also has a lot of young people. And I realized that I think this generation is coping with a lot more.
Yeah.
I think their problems are very, very different. Life problems are very different from what I had. Right?
Yeah, sure.
So to be able to actually understand that, navigate that, I know today every youngster is talking about work-life balance.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And it's, for somebody like us, it's always like, this is the time to build your career.
Yeah.
Right. So therefore, defining also what balance is for you at that time of life. Being able to relate with them in the way they think. sometimes it's not, I mean, a lot of the times it may not be possible for me as a founder to do it, but
True.
to create the ecosystem within the company or within the organization to be able to cope with it. And then, of course, I think just do a lot of things together. I know that we did, and this is a beautiful incident. We did
Okay.
this workshop around just, a fun workshop one Monday morning. And this was Monday
Whoa.
morning, okay,
Oh, yeah.
where we said we are not going to work this Monday morning.
cool
we
is that?
dedicated 4 hours
Yeah.
to doing this workshop where there was meditation, there was sound healing, there was fun.
Wow.
It was just to sort of, de-stress and let yourself be, and
Yeah.
also sort of bond with each other. And one of our persons actually came up to me and he said, I've been in the tech industry for so long, but I have never
Never done
experienced this.
Yeah, that's cool.
And one important thing he said was, I think because you're a woman founder, you think of it.
Oh.
And that was an insight for me.
Yeah,
That's my strength,
Of
to
course.
build that empathy. So actually also doing these fun things together, because you're spending 8 to 9 hours with each other.
Of course.
You have to, you
So-
live with very difficult people at home, but you understand them and you're like, okay, we know that this is how a person is, and there's unconditional acceptance, and then you work towards saying, okay, let's make this happen.
Hmm.
Right? We can't sort of emulate exactly the same thing at work, but we should at least try to say, okay, this person comes with their own issues. I understand, but let's work together and make it happen. So I think there are a lot of things. It's a very broad,
I know.
so
your workforce is largely women? Or is the percentage?
It is actually, no, but we're striving for diversity.
No, it's good.
So we're getting more men in.
Okay. So the gentleman who came before you today is from the entertainment industry, Raj Nayak,
Yeah.
Viacom. Now he runs a company called House of Cheer,
Yeah.
happiness assessments and all of that. We had a fun conversation and he spoke about a lot of Gen Z and etc. So, and you said this Monday thing. So in our company, we do a programs called Friday Talk,
Okay.
where we go to corporates in wherever they are and we do exactly similar kind of programs at their workplace, in the cafeteria or their large boardroom, or whatever
Sure.
you want to call. And we have dance, we have mandala painting, we have a mentalist, then
Sure.
Parvez,
Yeah.
he does a lot of shairi and etc. And the feedback is so amazing because 3 to 6 on a Friday, imagine doing an event,
Yeah.
they go home charged, saying, wow,
Correct.
okay, life is much more than 9 to 6 or 9 to 5. And then we give them ideas on what they could do to become better personally and thus professionally, or professionally thus
Sure.
personally. So one day, hopefully, we will come
Yeah,
to
in
your
fact, we
office
do
and
have
we'll
a
do a
slot.
lot of fun.
We have a Friday fun slot, by the way, in
Oh,
Lakshmi.
lovely.
So we will.
You should.
Do
Now
something,
that you know. Now that you know. So what's your favorite book? I want to ask you. Is there a book that you would advise people to read? One book.
There's a book by Adam Grant called Give and Take,
Oh, lovely.
which actually is the mantra that I live by.
So what's the synopsis of it? Is it
So
a gift
it's
economy?
essentially how, giving is actually. So what it says is typically that, and I have to credit a very dear friend for gifting this book to me.
Okay.
Because had I not read it, I would have questioned a lot of things in life. But they say that typically the most successful people in life are people who are givers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. And why are they successful? Because I would always question. See, I've watched my father while growing up, and I've always seen him do so much for the world out there.
Yeah.
And I would always question that, why are you giving so much time to this? There's so much more to do, etc. But when you read this book, it actually tells you that, if you live with the mindset of saying, I want to help somebody else, as opposed to saying, what's in it? For example, if we meet and we say, okay, what's in it for me? I'm talking to Manny. How can he help me? Right? What do I gain? Invariably, you are stuck in that. Such people are never sort of successful. They might reach
a bank balance,
but never successful, right? And the logic behind it is not just success; it's also the happiness that it adds to your life, right? When you are actually making people, enabling people around
Yes,
you.
yes, yes.
Of course, it comes back in many
Multiple
ways,
ways.
but and I think I really see that. I see my father embodied.
Wow.
And life came back a whole circle. And I'm like, okay, now I know, because there were places I would go to and they would tell me, oh, you're Mr. Rathi's daughter. I know him. He helped me do this, so and so.
How nice.
And
It's a
suddenly
beautiful
I find
feeling.
like doors would open, people would just look at me very differently.
I know.
And is that a legacy that actually I can build,
Wow.
for my children or even for myself, to say, okay, that's how you're known. So it's a beautiful book.
Give and take. So that's a book for everyone to
absolutely
read. So we have this in-house game. I want you to pick up one card. So it's basically connect, reflect, listen.
Okay.
I'd like you to... Okay, you can select any one of this and pick up any card. So there's connect, listen, reflect. You could take one card.
How do I choose?
Yeah, just random. Whichever. Suppose you say listen or connect. Let's say connect for you.
Let's look at connect.
Okay, so you can pick any random card. And then you could answer that question. What does it read for you?
Wow. If you could say something to your younger self,
Oh,
what
wow.
would it be?
That is something I was going to ask you. So yeah, see.
Great, see. Well, I think 2-3 things. One,
Lovely.
Of course, manage your money yourself, have full
Of
agency
course.
over it, right?
Yeah.
I would also tell my younger self that the world is actually, the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
I think you really sort of need to just go out there and accomplish what you need to do, what you want to,
Right.
without playing to people's perceptions. I think I did that for a part of my life where I was...
I think a lot of us probably did.
Yeah, but that's what I would tell myself.
yeah.
And in fact, that's beautiful about, like I said, the millennials and the Gen Z today.
Yeah.
But they're not paying,
To the
playing
masses,
to the
yeah.
masses, except for social media, if you cut that out.
Okay.
I think I would tell myself that, if you are desiring or desirous of really, education.
Yeah.
Ask for it, communicate, and so I didn't get to. So I actually just finished my graduation because I got married very
Oh
early.
yeah, 19.
And then it was a very conservative Marwari household. I didn't even know how to ask,
Wow.
and I wanted to do chartered accountancy, but I just couldn't ask.
My gosh.
So I would tell my younger self, ask. If
you
there's
don't
something
ask,
you
you
wish
don't
for,
get.
if you don't ask, you don't get.
So true.
And the day I did ask,
When did that switch happen?
I think it was, I had set up the entire stockbroking piece
I know,
in
yeah.
Anand Rathi.
Yeah.
And there was a time when broking became very, very professionalized.
Oh yeah.
So I had a team of people who were chartered accountants, MBAs, and for some reason, and so were my siblings. And I felt like I'm just not, there's something lacking, right? And I went to my family and I said, I want to pursue a higher education.
Yeah.
I only had to ask, and then they were super supportive, right?
Wow.
Where they said, and especially I think my father and my father-in-law, I think have been my biggest cheerleaders.
Oh,
And
lovely.
they said, oh wow, that's great, you must, right?
Why didn't you ask earlier?
Why didn't you? I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I should have.
in a
So I
way,
would tell my
right?
younger self that
But
whatever it is,
Yeah.
they say ask the universe, but at least communicate to people around you.
yeah. Think global, act local.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
And then you went to Harvard, the best university in the world.
Yeah.
You're
Then
an
I
alum of
realized-
Harvard, right?
Actually, I went to SPGN first, and
Okay.
I realized the power and the magic of education.
Oh,
And
it's
I
so
would
amazing.
recommend everybody at every age.
All young women.
You're not asking me this question, what would you ask your older self?
Mm.
There's this beautiful ad that I saw, which
Okay.
I think Aditya Birla had done, which said, "Budhe hoke kya banoge?"
Ah,
Right?
Yeah.
So you should ask that. What
So-
would you ask your older self?
So my colleague Parvez,
Yeah.
who you have met,
Yeah,
always tells people when he does health workshops
right.
that if you live long,
Yeah,
what are you going to do if you're not
Correct.
healthy? The underlying message is
yeah,
zindagi should be long, but
Correct.
if it's lamba hai to be healthy enough.
yeah,
What's the point of having millions in your bank when you can't walk,
correct.
right? When you can't play a game of tennis or go for a romantic walk with your
Absolutely.
partner.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important.
Actually, there's this very interesting study
Yeah.
done by Stanford Medical School,
Okay.
which is called the Map of Life.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it says that there's a paradigm shift now. Life is no longer, first of all of us will probably live to 100 years.
Well, 90,
Thanks to
90,
medical
100.
science,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's no longer can be slotted into, okay, this is education, this is work, this is retirement.
Yes.
Right? Because you will take many retirements in between. Because if you retire at 60, what are you going to do for the next 40 years?
Absolutely.
Right? Which is why I think it's become very important to equip yourself. So therefore, my recommendation to everybody is take a break, take a sabbatical, go back to studying, go do what you want
Take
to.
a gap year, do something. Yeah.
Because, if you retire at 60 for 40 years, you don't know what you're going to do. And you're going to be a burden on the society. So better that you take those breaks as and when you can, but not slot your life. So I think I've done that. I've taken a break when my children were born, went back to studying, then went and built a business.
Wow.
So that's how HBS also happened. And I recommend that to everybody. I think
amazing.
Go to the classroom whenever you get a chance.
It's very empowering, educative.
Yeah.
So much that we don't know about.
Sure.
Right? And you love reading? I suppose you do love reading.
I don't get as much time, but yes, I do love reading.
Yeah. So you've read my first book, Happiness Samurai.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I'm going to give you my latest book. It's a coffee table book on. I've written something for you.
Oh.
If your dad loves reading, I would like him to also read.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. It's a book on
That's
developing mindfulness, meditation, minimalism. So it's a coffee table book.
Yeah, minimalism is something I could do with.
Yeah.
I could learn about that.
Hicks Law. It's called the Hicks Law. We will have a separate coffee on it.
Yes.
And I want to read you something. So this is a calendar on 12 Japanese concepts. We teach these concepts to founders like you, billionaires, different. Yeah. And the feedback is all. So I thought something, I picked this for you even before you came.
Okay.
So it's called Nagomi. It's a Japanese philosophy centered on finding balance and harmony in all aspects of life.
Okay.
Fostering both internal and external peace.
Right.
Rooted in mindfulness and respect, it emphasizes a balanced lifestyle, mindful eating, and harmonious social interconnections. By nurturing self-awareness and connecting with others with empathy, Nagomi encourages a tranquil and fulfilling existence that values simplicity and collective well-being. I think a lot of your talk was
amazing.
I picked this before you came, so I kept it for you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on this book.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy reading it.
I'm sure.
And if there's any key message from you to the audience, now's your chance to. It's a wrap from us.
So I think in the moment, my message really is about finding your Ikigai, which has been said so often. You don't find it only because that's what you will, be very happy pursuing. It's your passion, but it's also about living a life that you can look back on without regrets. So do what you're passionate about, do it now, do it as soon as possible, because you never know what life has in store for you. It's ephemeral. So find your happiness today.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was amazing. I really enjoyed having you over. Your talk was really, it touched me. I'll be very honest. Your perspectives, woman leader, mother, wife. There's so many hats you have. And you spoke about Ikigai. You spoke about lots of things. I think I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It didn't feel like we were on camera. I just felt like I'm having a chat with you.
I'm glad. So did I. And thank you for having me once more.
Thank you so much.
Like I said, truly going back with a lot of food for thought, inspired. Yeah. And this was, I think, today is Thursday. No, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So this was Wednesday fun.
Yeah, Wednesday fun. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.